Hey, do you remember this guy? That's Charlton Heston, an actor. And he played Moses in that old movie, The Ten Commandments. It was one of his most famous roles. But we're going to come back to Moses here in a minute. Have you ever looked up at the stars on a clear summer night and wondered? It's that wandering stuff that'll get you. Because once I get to thinking, I never know where I'll end up. But I was wondering about what was the largest thing that science is aware of in our universe? Well, when I was surfing the web, this is what I came up with. This UY Scuti is the largest thing that man is aware of. It's over a trillion light years from Earth and 2,375 million kilometers wide. Naturally, I had to find the smallest thing. That's this, a Planck particle. Doesn't really have anything to do with this, but man, there's so many zeros in front of that one. I just thought it was like 1 gazillionth of 1 meter long. Now, while I was surfing the web, I came across this standard model of elementary particles. Now, these particles are a little bit larger than a singularity of a black hole, but they're intimately more important to us because science tells us that some combination of all these particles make up every atom in our world. And the atoms build matter. And that's matter that's living matter or biomass, or matter that's not animated, which would be like rocks, gas, water, those kinds of things. But these particles are supposedly integral to making up the atoms that build our world. You remember the Big Bang Theory? That's where science tried to explain where everything came from because they know that there was nothing here at the point of origin and they had to come up with some explanation. But you can't have a big bang when there is nothing to bang. I find that humorous. But if you were paying attention in sixth grade science, you'd have learned about matter. And what we know about matter is all matter cannot be eliminated. You can't eliminate matter. You can change its molecular structure, you can change its form, but you can't eliminate it. What that means is that everything that is here, all matter, has always been here. I mean, if you can't get rid of it, if it can't be eliminated, then it has always been here. There will never be anything new added to it, and there will never be anything taken away from it. You can change its form, you can change its molecular structure, but you can't eliminate matter. And that brings us to the most interesting part of this conversation: life. Life is the only thing in our world that has an expiration date. All life is going to end. It's as simple as that. But life isn't matter. Life exists in biomass, and the biomass is matter. And science can tell you how life starts, but it can't tell you where it came from. It can't tell you where it goes when it leaves, and it can't tell you why it is here. During this web search, I realized something very profound, and I believe it's very important, and we should always remember this. Life is the only thing that enters or leaves our world. Perhaps you've heard the term spark of life. Well, I want to show you a little clip from Northwestern University where they've actually videoed the very beginning of life in a human embryo. What you're seeing is the very instant that life begins, when the man's sperm enters the woman's egg. So then what's the takeaway from all this? Well, we've learned that science cannot tell us where we came from. It can't tell us why life exists, where life comes from, or where it goes when it leaves. And for these answers, that's where this guy comes in. Man has always recorded his existence. He either did it on cave painting walls or carvings, or he learned to write. And this guy, he actually walked with God for over 40 years, talked to him every day. And what he wrote in Genesis, in the books that he wrote in the Bible, was actually narrated to him by God. But not only that, but the Hebrew had writings all the way back from Enoch before the flood. Now, Moses continued to record the existence of his walk with God in the Hebrews till he left this world. After him, Joshua came and he continued writing. And after him, the judges, the prophets, and all the way down to the apostles of Jesus Christ. Now, all of this is recorded in the book of the Bible. And if you have any questions about life, I wouldn't go to science. They know very little about it. But I do encourage you to pick the Bible up and read it. Who knows? It might save your soul. Because do you know where you're going when you leave?